The 45th National Conference of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka took place in Colombo and was graced by Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Santosh Jha. The President of CA Sri Lanka, Heshana Kurupu, Chairman of the 45th National Conference Committee, were among the many attendees.
We must work in hand and grow and prosper together. Like it or not, we are naturally intertwined and interlinked by geography, history, tradition, and by our future. We are irreplaceable, indispensable, and inextricable as partners. Any attempt to drive a wedge can only be detrimental to our shared future and for our shared aspirations. It will be a negative not just for one side, but to the other as well. And that too in equal measure. We must therefore transcend old mindsets, overcome past hesitations, and actively work together for our shared goals, objectives, and aspirations. Very honestly, the world is perhaps a more difficult place than it has ever been in history. It is moving and changing at an unprecedented pace and scale and complexity. The Indo-Pacific today is the center of activity. It is the epicenter of global growth and dynamism. If one looks at the G20, the top 20 economies of the world, there are many more Indo-Pacific economies in the list than there were a few decades ago. Many global experts predict that India could emerge as the second largest economy as early as 2050. Not surprisingly, therefore, our Prime Minister has set a target to make India a developed nation by 2047, when we will celebrate our 100 years of independence. So India is clearly emerging as a key player in this ongoing rebalancing. Our share of the global GDP growth too is rising exponentially. Sri Lanka, as our closest maritime neighbor, has an obvious opportunity in this context to plug into the regional growth engine, that is India, and then leverage it to rebuild its own growth and prosperity. The ongoing rebalancing has also led to a world where it is increasingly the G20 and not the G7 that matters when it comes to global growth, maintaining global order, and addressing global issues and challenges. The ongoing shifts in global order also implies that traditional institutions that had managed the global order are increasingly inadequate to deal with them. This includes the UN, the WTO, the WHO, and others. They are today completely out of sync with contemporary realities, unrepresentative in terms of emerging global power configurations, and unable to address global challenges. A connectivity corridor between India and Sri Lanka, therefore, can open doors to Sri Lanka to connect with the rest of the world and to access markets and opportunities beyond India that are presently not leveraged.
The High Commissioner also spoke on India's foreign policy towards Sri Lanka.
India's foreign policy towards Sri Lanka too is people-centric. The benefits to the people are the only benchmark of India's efforts. For this reason, India is looking at assisting development of Sri Lanka through investments and grants, and relatively less through debt instruments. This, we believe, serves Sri Lanka better given its recent experiences with debt burdens. For this reason, EM Jaishankar announced that payments for 7 completed lines of credit projects to the tune of $20 billion would be converted into grant assistance. We have also converted the loan-assisted KKS port modernization project to a grant of 61.5 million US dollars. India has also agreed to the Sri Lankan request for supply of 22 diesel locomotives as a grant. Our development projects are now implemented in all 25 districts of Sri Lanka. We have completed 60 grant projects and implementing 16 more at this time. Our assistance includes over 5 billion US dollars of lines of credit and about 600 million US dollars of grant assistance. We have also extended full support to Sri Lanka's debt restructuring efforts, helped in securing IMF support, and extended bilateral financial support to overcome its immediate challenges.
The event featured a variety of performances as well.
The country's economic foundation and growth potential rely heavily on a resilient accounting profession. CA Sri Lanka takes pride in the influential role we have played over the years, especially during serious economic turmoil. Whether navigating complex regulatory landscape, reforming financial operations, or devising innovative risk mitigation solutions, our chartered accountants have been instrumental in steering our nation towards economic stability.